Ladies and gentlemen.
Sharing our stories connects us. Listen and be connected. Join us for the conversation meeting weekly at the intersection of community and culture. Hosted by Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter. And Joe King Carter, my buddy Joe. I start the show each and every week with that, and I shouldn't. I shouldn't start with.
And I like the way you do that.
I know, Joey, because it's about you. But anyway, the reality is it's Wednesday. It's 12 noon, high noon as it is. Well, 12:06 when we take the mics.
High noon.
And we just like to say thank you for tuning in today. This is The Conversation. It is midweek. It is the hump hour of the hump day. And, you know, I think about this every time Wednesday morning comes, Joey. And they come at us faster and furiouser every week because it seems like the weeks are getting this long or short. You didn't see that. I'm making that gesture with my fingers when they're real close together.
I saw that.
That here we are. And I look forward to these shows for a lot of reasons because I enjoy sitting next to you. I enjoy arguing with you in our pre-show. That's the best part, when we get to unsheathe the weapons and just go after each other.
Absolutely.
Knives out. Knives out, Joey.
That's what a real friendship is.
Knives out. And then the show starts and it's like we never did that.
That's right.
But that's showbiz.
That's right.
But I do like it because we get to do this show, which I think we're contributing mightily to the community. Also, because right after the show, man, we are racing towards the weekend. Right?
Absolutely.
Because we've got less week in front of us than behind us. And bring on that Friday night feeling, which is pretty soon going to give way to Friday night lights and football.
That Friday night feeling.
High school. Well, Joey he broke out in song, y'all.
There we go.
It's high school football, and then, of course, Saturday afternoons, college, and that all leads us to the fall, which leads us to cooler weather. Because I've got to say, Joey, when I come out of my house at 7:30 in the morning, and that humidity and that heat slaps me in the mouth and reminds me I'm living in Florida, that ain't a lot of fun.
Man, oh man. Heat advisories, warnings out over the last few days. It's been rough here.
Warning, Will Robinson, warning, 108, 109, 110 degrees. You can see the robot.
And I was out in it, and I was thinking, why
How
did
do
I
people
do
work
this?
in that? How do people work in that?
I don't know. I feel for them. Yeah, it's hard.
Stay hydrated, y'all. You're listening to The Conversation. I'm your host, Mario Nunez. You're also listening to Joe King Carter, who is still in the running for Best of the Bay, Best Radio Personality.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, come on, Joey. Tell them what to do, Joey.
Yes, please, folks. Vote. Wouldn't it be nice if a WMNF programmer became Best Radio Personality in Tampa Bay, and not one of those corporate guys who have thousands and thousands of followers? Come on.
Are you listening? Are you referring to Bubba the Love Sponge?
Well, guys like that. Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, I never, not that I don't like the guy.
Yeah.
I don't like him either, but I don't like the guy. But the Bubba the Love Sponge?
Well, it's real simple. I don't listen to corporate radio because I listen to the best little radio station on earth, which is WMNF.
The Love Sponge?
I should have a Joe the Love Brush. I don't know what
something.
But at any rate,
that's a little more agreeable.
But let me just say, folks,
please,
if you've not voted, you can vote every day until August 30th. You can go to vote.cltampa.com. You can go to the WMNF.org website. If you are listening on non-terrestrial around the world, you can vote from Istanbul if you'd like. And so please consider little old Joe. I would love to be the best radio personality in Tampa Bay.
But just the fact that you got nominated is a feather in your cap. So congratulations,
Correct.
Joey. Because
Absolutely.
the last time I checked that list, my name wasn't on it. So let's just start right there, okay?
Well, if you do a little better job, you'll get there.
I guess. All right, Joey. Well, listen, we're off and running now, my brother. We're off and running now.
Yes, and I'm excited.
We're excited for a lot of reasons. So our guest today is somebody who has joined us in the past. In fact, we got a Facebook notice not too terribly long ago saying that it's been a year since he's been on the show. Mm-hmm. So we thought we would bring him back in to kind of Have him tell us what he's been doing.
And we
in the
don't
last
get to
year.
do repeats very often. We say that
Except with Dr. Bob.
do it.
Except with Dr.
Well,
Bob.
Dr. Bob is almost a third leg of the show.
He really is.
But
and he'll be here soon.
we don't get to do that very often, and you got to be really somebody special to come back again.
So we're doing this. We're doing this to catch you all up to date, but also as a little precursor, we want to wet your whistle. Whistle, I believe that's how you pronounce that, because there's an H in there. Whistle, and because guess what next month is, Joey?
Next month is Latino Heritage.
Of which I am a Latino. Oh, Joey, now you had to go do the Speedy Gonzalez thing. Bradenton spilling all inside of you, brother. Just
Hey,
came
listen,
outside.
I have a little,
The inside parts, keep it inside, Joey.
I have a little Latin blood somewhere.
You didn't need to
inside
go,
me.
ay, like that.
Arriba.
Arriba. Now he goes. Well, if I'm Speedy Gonzalez, that must make you Slowpoke Hernandez. I'm just going to leave it at that,
You know,
okay?
that could be.
Okay, all of that to say that we
I'm the
haven't.
Cisco kid, man.
We have Luis Antonio Salazar. I love it. And if we were in Spain, I would be pronouncing it Luis Antonio Salazar. I love that name. He's joining us again today, and we're just going to catch up with our good friend Luis, and he can tell us all about last year and what he's been doing.
Absolutely.
Luisito, thanks for
Welcome,
coming
Luis.
back in.
Thank you for having me. It's always fun coming in here, and a pleasure having to speak to you all.
it's
Come on,
great to
man.
see
You
you.
know it's
Talk to
fun. You know
everyone,
this is fun.
Hearing the bell chime.
And by the way, Luis Antonio Salazar.
I love
mean
it.
that I said this last time a year ago.
You said it
That's
right.
an image of a guy with a sword in some romantic novel who's
Oh,
fending.
he's swooping in. He's swooping in and saving
Yeah,
the
he's
damsel in
swooping in to
distress.
save the day, yeah.
There's no
it's
doubt
also
about
the
it.
name of a Portuguese dictator, so just so you know.
Oh, well.
But we
Then
won't-
there's that.
We won't go there.
There's
Oh no. Okay, well. So Luis, you've had a busy year.
It has been very busy
Yeah.
for the last year. I've been running around trying to get things in order. I've been running for office, House District 64, and it started last November, and we got a big win last night. And
You did, and congratulations from
This is when we
everybody
cue
here.
the applause. If we had that
Yeah.
soundtrack,
Yeah.
we would do that. We're going to get that before Christmas. I think we'll get that.
But before we
I've
go,
been saying that.
before we go down that,
Congratulations, Luisito.
before we go down that pathway, for those who may not have listened to our show a year ago, let's talk a little bit about who you are and where you were born and how your life started.
So I was born in California in this place called Pomona. Our claim to fame there is Eazy-E. So if you listen to the rap, that's a very famous name for you.
Absolutely. One of the
from
founding fathers.
He's from Pomona, California. My family came from Mexico. 1972, they got in a 1972 Chevelle with my sister and my brother, with my grandma, and they came to California seeking the American dream. They got there speaking no English, having no money, and then few relatives that helped them out, and were able to grow their lives here in the U.S. My father lived here undocumented from the 70s into the 80s, and because of Ronald Reagan, got amnesty and was able to become a U.S. citizen. The funny of the story is my dad got a Social Security before he became a legal resident, because back in the day you were able
You
to
could
do
do
that.
that.
Yeah, but
To work, I guess you needed a Social Security
to
card.
get work, yeah. And they learned English. They did the struggle of every immigrant that comes here building their lives. They ended up moving back to Arizona, close to the border town where we came from, which is Nogales, Arizona. And I grew up in Arizona, a little small town called Sahuarita, little desert town. When I lived there, it was a town of about maybe a little over 1,000 people. Very, very small, little rural town.
What does that name mean?
Sahuarita means little saguaro. Little saguaro. Yeah.
The saguaro is the cactus of the West.
Only grows in Arizona and the Grand
Is
National.
that's right? That's
yeah.
good. Well,
Sonora Grand National Forest is a saguaro forest,
and they
it's
get pretty big. If I'm not mistaken, those are like the giants.
gigantic,
saguaros.
and they
Yeah.
live for hundreds and hundreds of years.
So if it's a small one, hence
It's-
the term.
Yeah, and they have several
Saguarito.
arms on them. You know, it's
Yeah.
a typical
It's the
drawing.
classic- it's the classic
of a cactus.
cactus.
Yeah, right.
But grew up in Arizona. I very rural life. We had, dogs, animals, and lived in the middle of nowhere, as they would say. My nearest neighbor was pretty distant. My mom and dad they worked very hard to get us out of the trailer park quite literally, because they wanted to build a little better life for their kids, and ended up buying 5 acres of land out in the middle of the desert and building a family and growing up out there. I learned a lot about community, and we lived for a very long time without water, indoor plumbing, stuff like that, because it was rough out there. It was not readily available. But community stepped up for us. Things like the Kiwanis Club, the Rotary Club, the Mormon Church stepped up and helped us get on our feet. And that's where I really started learning about really taking it to the next level. My mom was a advocate before she doesn't even know what that word is, but she still does it. You know what I mean? She's just a good lady. My brother and sister would call her a hoarder, but she just collects clothes, collects toys, like anything, cardboard boxes.
To redistribute, I'm sure.
Yeah, cardboard boxes so people can light fires in Mexico under their stoves and their water heaters. So, like, she's always thinking about other people, even before herself. And I saw that growing up, and I have been cursed with my mother's goodwill.
That's a good thing to ring a bell on right there.
And my dad too. My dad was an electrician. He worked as an electrician for a very long time, and he fixed wheelchairs, golf carts, and helped people. He was a big part of Jerry's Kids Camp in Arizona, up in the Pine Tree Forest. And again, I saw someone that when a family needed help and there was no money, he did it for free. And you never realize how great that is to someone else, and you never get praised for it. My dad never got praised for helping families and putting his aside or on the side burner for helping others, and as a kid you see it and you're like, well, what about us? And then you realize that it's bigger, right? It's bigger than you just your family. And you notice it when you walk into places. My mom was a waitress at Pizza Hut for 20 years, and everybody in town knew them. Everybody in town said hello to them. Everybody in town was grateful to them. If anybody needed help.
I imagine they commanded respect as well.
Yeah, if anybody needed help, they'd come to them. And we would go without, but I never felt that way. I felt like when I was growing up, we had so much love, and we always went to Disneyland for the summer, and we didn't have money. And my mom and dad would bring like 20 of my cousins with us because we're Latino, and we'd pack up the back
families.
We would find a camper to put on the back of the truck, and everybody would sleep on the way there, and we'd drive to California, stay with my aunts and uncles there. And I think about it now and the financial hardships that people are going through. And I mean, I don't have any kids, and I can't imagine what families with kids are going through right now. Going to Disneyland with 2 kids is over $1,000 for, it's unbelievable. Yeah. But I grew up in the desert and had an opportunity to, I was always too big for that small town. I was always so wanting more. I wanted to go out there and see what the world had to offer. And I had an opportunity when I was 15 years old. I lived in Australia for a year. I was a Rotary exchange student because of my community. This was an opportunity that I was able to take. My mom didn't want to let me go. I'm her baby, and I was too young, and I was never going to grow up for her.
How did the Rotarians talk her into that?
I was a very persistent young man.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Have things changed that much?
They haven't. And, I blame her for it because she taught me how to do it.
Yeah,
I just literally would every day be like, I can't believe you're holding me back. This is what I want to do. And eventually she's like, fine, you really want to do this? You can go.
The image I'm getting right now very quickly is George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life.
Perfect.
Because he was in this little community, and he was learning all those values about community, but he wanted to be a world traveler. He wanted to be the big guy.
Yeah.
He wanted to go and leave that little town. And it sounds to me like that poverty and that community connection, because people in small towns like that, they have to rely on each other.
Yeah.
And as you said, they don't do it for praise. That's just not the reason you do it. You do it because you have to do it.
Yeah, well,
and that's a great value to have.
Yeah, you can't dig a well or build a barn by yourself.
That's
you
right.
know what I mean? So you need to have community to
Now, I got to find out what did I feel like to go to Australia? I mean,
at 15 from Nogales,
it's been mind blowing.
I learned responsibility. I'll tell you that much because I was in charge of myself, my finances, and that was the point of it, right? The coming of age, learning. I first of all I chose to go as far away from that small town as possible. So I had 3 options.
Couldn't have gone any further there.
And the 3 options were South Africa, Argentina, or Australia, and I got picked for Australia. And going there and meeting people and seeing the world from a different perspective, and really seeing how international it can be, and not being stuck in the U.S. bubble of the market, of media and all that stuff, and really getting out there, enjoying nature, because that's what they do. They love their nature there. I mean, it's beautiful.
Australia is all about the outback.
Yeah, I never lived more than a 5-minute walk from the beach, which was great, and it was a beautiful experience. If you ever go to Australia, you're going to find a very welcoming culture, very welcoming people. I love them all. I miss them, and I think of them every single day because they helped shape me also. They were my parents.
So you still have some contact with
I
those
do,
nice folks.
yeah, and they were great people. I came back a totally more independent, confident person. I got bullied a lot when I was a young kid because I was gay, and it was tough, and especially living in a small town. But coming back really gave me the confidence to own who I am and what I'm about, and go into my high school years without feeling fear. And it changed the relationships I had even with my bullies, because they respected me for standing up for myself. I had to get out of that town, so I joined the Navy. Went to the Navy, saw the world.
So you come
again.
back from Australia, and then you decide to join the Navy.
17 years old.
High
My
school
mom
years,
had to,
right?
yeah, my mom had to sign a piece of paper allowing me to make my own decisions at 17, and I joined the Navy, and I again, another life-changing experience that helped shape my life, teaching me about family, about people that are with me, and loyalty. We learn loyalty in our family, but when you're in a foxhole with someone, you learn what loyalty really is about, and who has your back.
Right.
There's honor, courage, commitment. That's what we live by in the Navy, and we want to make sure that those are the values that we carry forward in our life.
You must be a little heartsick presently with what's happening on the USS Abraham Lincoln.
It is very sad. I've actually been on I visited the Abraham Lincoln while I was in the Navy, and it's a great ship full of great people, and people rotate, but there's a camaraderie when you're in the Navy. Even if it's not me, it's happening to me, and these are my shipmates. It's disheartening that we are spending $20 million on gloves to shock people in our communities and terrorize them, and we can't even get a stick of deodorant to these poor guys and girls over there.
Toothpaste, some of the basic necessities.
Basic necessities. And I've been out to sea. When I was in the Navy, the longest I ever was out to sea without a port was a little bit short of 70 days, and it's hard. And
This is 3 times as long, if I'm not mistaken.
3
They're
times.
over 210 days now.
And ships need maintenance.
Yes.
They need to pull in. They need to supply. You can do a replenishment at sea, but you need to change the oil. You need
the things that need to be done. People take that for granted. They don't understand the mechanics.
Things start breaking down.
Yeah,
things, especially with salt water. I mean, who knows what's going on that ship? I pray
How
for
about
them
the
every single day.
psychology alone of the sailors and airmen to just be able to step on solid ground?
Yeah,
right.
It is.
And now their families are beginning to reveal this. And by the way, I'll step out and say it if nobody else is going to say it. The lack of planning for all of this is so typical of this administration.
Absolutely.
To do things that have not been thought out in any remote way except for the immediate goal is frankly infantile.
The one thing that we can do, because I'll tell you right now, as a representative in Congress, the scariest thing that you'll ever see coming down the hall at you is an angry mom, dad, sister, wife, a relative of a person in the military, and you go there and you tell them that you demand action. That is something they do not want to see because it's scary to them. And when we start speaking up and really making a difference, they're gonna act. Because they don't, these people defend our country. They stand to watch while we sleep in bed.
As do their families.
Yeah, and their families are here suffering.
Yeah.
Like, you go out there, call them, call your congressman, demand something. I mean, what's going on?
You must engage.
Well, I didn't mean to get on the sidetrack there, but I'm just wanted to get your opinion because as a Navy, a retired Navy How do I refer to
Just
it?
as a veteran.
A sailor.
A sailor.
Yeah, why don't I just say that? Why don't I just say that?
Once a
Mario?
sailor,
What
always
was
a
so
sailor.
difficult about that word? But as a retired Navy veteran, thank you.
There you go.
I wanted to get your sense of what that felt like, or what that feels like.
So let's talk about that experience. How long were you in?
I was in 4 years, and it was again life changing. Came out and
Saw the world?
saw the world. I have been on every continent except one, and that's where it's really, really cold.
Antarctica.
Yeah. But I've been to weird places, places that are off the beaten track. The Seychelles in the Indian Ocean, Djibouti in Africa.
We just like the word.
Yeah.
We just like to say it.
I've-
Djibouti.
Djibouti.
We don't know where it is, but Djibouti.
That's
Yes.
right. Shake your booty.
It's it was cool. I got
Shake
to.
Djibouti. I'm going on this Halloween. I'm going as Shake Djibouti. Joe, you just gave me my Halloween costume. I'm sorry.
Council
Lou, forgive
member
me.
Shake
It just
Djibouti.
came out of nowhere.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. I'll say, so, yes.
Yeah, so got to travel, got to explore the world. I came back. I wanted to my one goal through this all was to go to college. And I had that opportunity because of the Navy. And I came back. I stayed, wandered the world because you miss freedom when you're in the military, the freedom to grow your hair. Or
There's a structure there that you have to adhere to.
There's a very strong structure, but it teaches you about
Which is
life.
good, though.
It is. It teaches you
Some
about
discipline
life.
doesn't hurt.
And so when I went, I ended up going to community college in Tucson at Pima Community College, and then I moved to Flagstaff, Arizona, which, believe it or not,
Big city.
it's 7,280 feet up in the elevation, so it snows there. And it's in Arizona. It gets cold, and I was there for through college. Through my final years of college, I graduated with a degree in public relations with a minor in Spanish, in particular in Spanish literature and Latin American literature. And I wanted to move to a place where I'd never have to shovel snow again. And the brightest, sunniest place for that was Tampa, Florida. I had been coming here for internships and just to visit friends throughout the years from about 2007 and on. And I ended up, I was like, that's it, I'm going. And I came here, and it's been a great experience. This place has adopted me. This is my home. Mm-hmm. I love fighting for it. I really got involved with community here and made sure that people got resources because, again, my mother and father taught me what to do, and it was what I'm good at. And here I am, and in the great city of Tampa, Florida.
And you learned from an advocate who didn't even know what advocacy was. So it's almost as if you were being taught, by example, certainly, not being even informed that this is what advocacy looks like. It's just the example she set.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to learn.
You
know what I mean? It's like when you learn from your abuelita cooking at the stove, and you just see her peeling the potatoes a certain way and putting whatever sofritos she's putting in the pan. She doesn't have to tell you what it is or no. You just know it instinctively. That's a great way to learn.
And sometimes poverty. It's weird to say this because poverty is a horrible thing, and it's so often, if not completely man-made, but poverty can teach lessons to people.
Motivator.
Resilience.
And there's a lot of lessons that can be taught. And I probably would feel more comfortable putting my life in the hands of somebody who's been through a childhood of poverty than somebody who was a trust fund baby, frankly. But having said that, I also find it really interesting when people choose Tampa who could have chosen any place. We've had people like that on the show before. And Mario is a Tampa native, and I grew up an hour south of here. And to be honest with you, I'm an honorary Tampa native because I came here when I was 20. And if you're in a satellite community around Tampa, Tampa is still the city.
The city.
All of my media came out of Tampa, TV shows, all that stuff. So I felt like I was in Tampa before I was in Tampa. Having said that, I find it interesting when someone says, hey, I found Tampa and I really liked it so much I wanted to make it my home.
I came here, and when I was visiting here, I saw places like Ybor and West Tampa and the community, especially the Latino community, really thriving and so involved, right? Think of all the great leaders we have in those communities. E.J. Salcinas, people that have stepped up and really helped other Latinos get ahead. And that's what the the type of Latino world. I mean, my family's Mexican, but in where I grew up, the Mexicans all took care of each other. We all helped each other. We all made sure that our kids got to go to school with backpacks and shoes. And if the college education came, we stuck together. And I saw that here, and it really encouraged me. And
It resonated with you.
It did, and I was like, you know what? This feels like home.
Yeah.
You eat yellow rice, but it's okay. I'll forgive you.
Well, it's
Those
also,
black beans, what do we do with that?
It's also the history of Tampa. I find that the people come here and they're a little confused because they'll say to me, because I interact with people as a tourism counselor in Ybor City all the time, and they'll say to me, well, isn't this a Cuban community? And I say, well, it's a
everywhere now.
Spanish, Cuban, Venezuelan, Argentinian,
Arroz con mango.
Haitian, Puerto Rican. I mean, Tampa really has always been this melting pot that's
Yes.
unusual in the state of Florida. And I think, people think that we're like a small Miami and it's all Cubano.
It's very different, and it's
Very
welcoming.
different.
It's welcoming here.
Correct.
I'll tell you that.
Yes,
much.
yes.
It's not Miami. I don't feel
I think
welcome
that's
to
what
it.
separates us. I think that's what separates us, Luis. I think that's what separates us from Miami is just what you said, because we've been at it longer, right? So we've learned to do that adapting thing a lot longer, and we are welcoming. We're probably one of the most welcoming little big towns, if you want to call it that, little big towns in America. And I think people sense that, and they feel that vibe when they come here, and they want to come and stay.
And we have salami on our Cuban sandwiches.
Hello,
And
let's bring one for salami, y'all.
in a very real sense, back in the old days, in the 50s and 60s, when they referred to Ybor City as a Latin
Dang,
community.
Joey, we were alive back then.
Latin-
Be careful what you're saying. I mean, wow, Joey, back in the old days.
Yeah.
When I hear old days, I'm thinking 20s and 30s. Go ahead, I digress.
Back in the old days, they promoted Ybor City as a Latin community, and the word Latin meant Sicilian and Italian too.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it is a Romance culture, and so many families are mixed between those ethnicities.
And that's cool.
New
That's
Orleans had the
cool.
French Quarter,
Yeah.
Joey. New Orleans had the French Quarter, and what do we have?
We had the Latin Quarter.
Thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And in that mix, that I don't think a lot of people talk about, there was a strong Jewish community here as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Still here.
And still here,
And mostly Romanian Jews that came from New Orleans, by the way, here.
Yeah, their names are on the buildings.
They had exactly. They had
they
a
are.
profound effect, and really, Seventh Avenue looks and feels like New Orleans because the men who came here from New Orleans brought with them what they knew. It doesn't really look like a street in Spain, and it doesn't really look like a street in Cuba. It feels and looks like New Orleans, and there's a reason for that. And as you just said, Steinberg, Buckman, Argentine, these are all Jewish guys.
Yeah.
So continue.
No, yeah, and I mean, I came here, and this place, it adopted me, man. I got here, and I saw a need in my community, and because I was in Rotary, because I was as a Rotary Exchange student, I learned from them how to do it on a bigger scale. My mom and dad taught me the passion for it, but the Rotary clubs and then the Kiwanis clubs and all these organizations, especially Rotary, because it's service above self is their motto. They really taught me how to do things on a bigger, grander scale. I ended up becoming involved with the Hillsborough County LGBTQ Democratic Caucus. I eventually became president of
Now,
that
did you have a
organization.
professional when you came here? What did you
So I work in public relations. And so I was a bartender through college at the Outback, so I'm an Outbacker.
well, there's the Australia coming through. Yeah.
Aussie,
I was
Aussie,
an
Aussie, oi.
Outbacker, yeah, for many years. I worked at the Brandon location.
The Bloomin' Onion. Come on
It
now,
was
let's go.
Great. Hello to all my Brandon Outbackers and then also the customers there, because that was also a great place to learn about the community and learn about the history of this place, because a lot of people are there for long timers that have been here forever. But I work in public relations. I ended up running in the campaigns and helping people with social media, and got to be involved in politics and be president of the caucus. And this opened other doors for me to be able to be a DNC delegate to Chicago for Harris Waltz, originally for Biden, then for Harris Waltz.
Don't bury the lead.
Yeah.
Share that with us, because those of us that couldn't be there, we were living vicariously through those of you that were.
Yeah.
And it looked like an amazing time. I just want to know, what was it like to be in the building when they did the roll call? Because that was the coolest roll call ever.
Yeah, no, it was awesome to feel the energy in there. And, we have to lead with hope always.
Yes,
And
that's what we
especially
do.
right now. There is people right now that are really in a tough spot. And we have to lead with empathy and hope and have real solutions for them. And answer to our communities. And that's what I felt was in there. And I continue to carry that forward. I am a Democrat and our party is changing. And we have to be able to, we're at a point right now where we can decide what that's going to look like and be part of it.
Let me ask you this. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead. Let's do the bottom of the hour.
Let's do the bottom of the hour station ID. When we come back, we'll reintroduce you to our guest today. We'll give you our phone lines, our numbers, so you can give us a call if you have a comment or a question. And this is just a wonderful conversation on The Conversation, WMNF.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Slattery Gaston, and you're listening to The Conversation with Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter on WMNF 88.5 FM Tampa.
Kimberly.
A radiant bundle of joy. And if you didn't hear that show last week, we encourage you, as we do each week, because we like to think that like a parent who has a lot of children, we have a lot of guests on our shows, and we love them all.
Yeah.
And if you ask us to pick a favorite, we can. So just go
Sorry,
back.
Luis.
This week it happens to be Luis.
That's what my mom says, but we all know who her favorite is.
There it is. There it is, Mama.
Well, I tell you what, Kimberly, who was on last week, also service above self.
Yeah.
She's another person. She would definitely click.
And I think above and beyond everything else, that's probably why I get so excited about Wednesdays, because when we do get a chance to come in here, Joe, and we cue the mics and we take over for this hour, we're introducing our community to people who live that mantra. They just don't give it lip service. They they put the sweat equity into it. So Our guest today, if you're just joining us, is Luis Antonio Salazar. Just last night had the exodus of experiencing a local political victory. We'll let him talk to that in just a couple of minutes. But if you'd like to join us and share your commentary, let me give you that number now. It's 813-239-9663. If you'd like to send us a text, 813-433-0885. Emails are always welcome. Jessica Green, our engineer, is waiting to read those on the air if they're worthy. I am not worthy. If they're worthy, DJ at WMNF.org.
There we go. So, I can't remember now because it's a year ago, and I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. But the point is, where in that process did you... the issue of working on behalf of the Democratic LGBTQ caucus.
Close. He was close.
Where in your world did that become a surface issue for you to deal with? And I guess I'm asking you, how did you come out and when did that happen? Were you always there? Was it a moment in time?
I came out as a young person, and it was, again, when I came back from Australia.
Australia
I came
was the
back
key.
And I was like,
I'm going to own this.
I'm going to own this. I'm tired of being bullied. I'm tired of being pushed around. If I am this, to be honest with you, I didn't even know what to call it. I grew up in a small town of 1,000 people. There was nobody else like me.
Right.
Or I thought there was nobody else like me.
Right.
But when I came back, it was just my parents were cool. They were never. I told them
that's called love.
They love me no matter what.
Yeah.
Mom and dad are my heroes, and they're living heroes. They've done so much good for this world and asked for nothing in return, and that's the definition of a hero for me.
That's a great thing to have,
and to have them as role models and people to look up for or look up to. It teaches you to be humble in life. It really does, and it teaches you to also respect yourself, love yourself, and to. Man, I have been through so much in my life, good and bad. And in all the bad times, there's three people that have never abandoned me, even when I was at my worst, and that was my mom, dad, and God. And I'm grateful for that.
Another version of the Holy Trinity. Repeat that again.
My mom, my dad, and God.
And let me say for the record, for those of you that are watching us on Facebook presently as we're doing a simulcast, you see Luis, he's just on the other side of us sitting down. I just want to say, I can't imagine Luis being bullied, because if you stand next to him, my man goes around 6'1", he goes around 235. So, if you're going to come at Luis, you better be ready, because I just don't...
Did he get those numbers
you must have
right?
been...
Almost.
Did you hit...
We'll go with them.
Yeah, you'll go with the 235.
I like 235.
I don't really know. I'm bad at that game. I would be the bad guesser guy at the fair. You know, guess your weight kind of thing. I'd be bad at that. But Luis, you must have been at the time that all this bullying was taking place. Maybe you hit your growth spurt late.
No, I was always tall. I was also very athletic. I played soccer. I was a great swimmer. When I lived in Australia, I got to go to nationals. which was
Really?
Yeah, I held a record. Well, in Arizona, I used to hold the record for the 50-meter freestyle.
Come on.
So I was really good at it, and dive as well. I used to be a diver.
Mexico, they have some of the best divers in the world. No, serious.
Yeah, my grandfather actually was a diver for the Mexico Olympic team back in the day.
Come on.
Yeah,
We're learning so much about you, Luis. We're learning
I don't
so much.
remember that from a year ago.
I don't either.
Yeah, no.
But that's okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, but at some point, as you are making Tampa your home, you decided that, and you talked about the Rotary Club, but you decided with the Democratic Caucus that you were going to get really involved.
I did, and it was a moment of waking up in anger in 2016 and seeing what was going on at that time and after the election, and it was a decision. Okay, well, we can sit here and yell at the TV, or we could actually get up and do something, and that is, it's been a successful mantra for me as well. Like, if you're angry at something, go do something about it.
Right.
Like something productive, right? Like go knock on a door, go call somebody, get involved locally. The clubs and caucuses here are excellent places for people to just go and learn what's going on. If that doesn't work for you, create your own thing. This is a free world, and we are all doing great things. I know you've had a person on here that is dear to my heart, is Gianni Hunt, who did just that. She created Magnified Voices. She's going out there and doing the Lord's work every single day.
She is awesome.
I'm so proud of her.
She's not only awesome, she's not only your friend and you're proud of her, but she's watching us presently on Facebook.
Oh, I'm sure she is.
Yeah,
Hi,
she absolutely is.
Yeah.
I'm monitoring the feed, and she's absolutely watching.
I love that. That is exactly, and you know what it is? It's about service. She was a military person as well. She served, and that's what we were taught, to give back to our communities. All of us. Think about all the people that are running right now that were in the military. We have more people that were in the military that are running, more LGBTQ plus people, people that know what it's like to feel rejected in life, and to know and really know what it's to step into a world of chaos and make order out of it.
Absolutely.
And
by the way, psychologists will tell you that one of the great, aside from the biochemical issues, one of the great medications that will help you heal from depression is called self-actualization. When you act, you begin to feel empowered, and that's what you're talking about.
Again,
that's what service does for you, actually.
And also going back to that small mentality of, you can't build a barn or dig a well by yourself. You need to build that community and build that space. You need to make sure that you're being productive in life.
Yes.
And I'll tell you right now, there's no better feeling in the world than giving back to people and making sure that they're one step ahead and not going back. And giving them opportunity. This is what people are missing, especially our young people. We talk about educating them. We talk about giving them the tools, but we also have to give them the opportunity to grow.
We know that about the civilization, the citizenry of the island of Cuba, that big, beautiful island that has fallen in disrepair and for years and years has been neglected, because the people that come here from that island, they come here with a modicum of already preset skills. They know reading, they know writing, and they know arithmetic. I believe it's arithmetic, Joe. I don't think there's another. It starts with an R, right? Arithmetic? Reading, writing, and arithmetic. And writing also starts with an R, right? No, it's W. I get it, though.
The three R's.
I digress. The three R's. When they come here, the only thing they're missing is what, Louis?
Opportunity.
They come here and immediately they get their driver's license. They immediately go start delivering Uber, and they're doing that 20 out of the 24 hours a day just because it feels good to earn their way.
Yeah.
And then once they establish themselves, listen, they are fierce. And I know this because of many, many, many of my friends, close friends, are in that group of people that they're industrious. And buddy, nobody's going to work harder. So that
That goes to all, immigrants across the board. Immigrants are the hardest working people
What did Lin-Manuel Miranda say about immigrants? They get the job done. They get the job done.
It is, yeah. And
it's really the American story, really.
It is.
Yeah.
I grew up with it. I grew up 30 minutes from the U.S. border. I saw people coming to this country. And I'm going to tell you right now, this country's great. And if it wasn't as great as it was, people wouldn't cross oceans and deserts to get here.
Wouldn't die to get here.
Yeah, and die to get here.
Absolutely.
It is. We have to give up. We have to give people opportunities to grow. It helps our economy. It helps our our people, and it keeps us and the true American dream alive.
So
Absolutely.
Lewis has alluded to the fact that when he came here, he felt the vibe, he felt the love. The community embraced Lewis, and Luis has, in return, reciprocated in kind and embraced him. How do you feel that's going for you, Lewis? Do you feel like the ROI there is worth it for you? I mean, are you gaining momentum? How does that? Where are you in that path?
You never know. You never know where you're at in a community until something bad happens to you, and then the wagons circle around you, and the people step up. I couldn't have gone anywhere in this community without the backing of people in my community. Shout out to Casa Tempeñas.
Let's go.
Yes, Casa Tempeñas. Those ladies are. They're like, I've gained like 5 mothers in this process.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Oh, wanting to make sure, Luisito, your teeth brushed, is your hair combed, tuck in your shirt, let's go.
Checking in on my welfare, you know.
But they're fierce.
They're fierce. They are, and they are deeply entrenched in this community. Their families have been here for a very long time, generations. And when you get to a place where I'm at, I didn't get here alone, because we go nowhere alone. We don't. And I've had people like Nick, who's sitting here with us today, who's my campaign manager, and my friend who's been backing me. I put him through a lot too. I make him wake up real early, and
He looks like it.
poor Nick.
I was going to ask him about those bags under his eyes, but I felt bad.
But the community really came out for me, right? We knocked on over 5,500 doors. I didn't do that alone. I did that with the help of my community, multiple clubs, caucuses, organizations, volunteers. That is what gave us a victory that people believed, and they believed in the message. We have to move Florida forward, and it is time. People are tired of chaos. People are tired of the madness. We have to keep moving forward, and we cannot continue to be attacking each other.
Joey, ask him about the deliverables. When you get through saying what you were going to say. Go
Well,
ahead.
I was just going to say, to that end, we are at a quarter of. Let me just say, when we invited you here, there was possibly a 50-50 chance that you would be telling us today about
a different story.
Yeah, what it might be like to lose a campaign that you worked hard at. It happens to be that you won a campaign. Let's talk about the future and where you're going. And you said deliverables.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what it is you now want to see happen, what you would like to change, what you see the future holding for you in this run coming up.
Listen, the reason I started this and I decided to run is because I was walking around West Tampa, and and Town and Country, and I saw people with tarps on their roofs. And I started to learn that a lot of those people were Spanish speaking, and that there is a big problem here when government allows that to happen for over 2 years and no solutions in the homeowners insurance crisis that's happening in the state. And we need to find a solution for everyday working people so that when they come home from work after a long day, they don't have to suffer with a roof that has a hole in it for hurricanes that happened over 2 years ago. We cannot let government function like this. We have to make sure we take care of the people first. That happens by representing them and not the lobbyists in Tallahassee. That's why we're going forward with this. We have to continue to make community and people first, especially the people that make things run. Like the electricians, the plumbers, the people that come here and fix your house when all heck is breaking loose and water's flowing anywhere. They get their rubber boots on and they get right in there because so you don't have to. The workers, the people that pick your fruit, your vegetables, we have to protect these people, and they're not being protected right now. They're not being thought of right now because there's a lot of greed going on, and we have to in the next few 80 something days. I think we got
86 or something like that?
till November 3rd.
87?
We have to connect. We have to connect with people and let them know that we understand what they're going through. And because not just we understand it, but I'm going through it too. And we're going to find solutions. And we're going to move forward. And it's been happening. Our campaign has been going out there, and we're going to continue to go out there and find solutions. We've been going to churches that are building affordable housing on site. We've been going to the food banks. We've been going anywhere we can to learn on day one what we need to support, what we need to grow. The solutions are there. And a lot of people think you have to write a whole new book. No, they're there. We have to support our nonprofits. I've spoken 100 times about the Hispanic Services Council and how I worked there and how they did miracles with nothing. These ladies and these gentlemen that are working there really care about their communities. And I see my mom and dad when I worked there, I saw my mom and dad in every face that walked through that door of people that are just coming here to live a better life for their kids and to really, really try to become part of the society and to grow it and make it prosperous.
So when people talk about the American dream, that's the American dream that we should be talking about, in my humble opinion.
As I hear Lewis's voice, can you imagine, Joe, the thought came to my mind. These people, us included, that are just struggling, man, bobbing above and below the waterline, just trying to get another breath to go another few days. Can you imagine if you, as once Rod Serling famously used to say, imagine if you will, people who cared about those people, and then the fierce loyalty and allegiance you would form and the relationships that would bond you to those people that represent you because they know that you care. You know what I'm saying? And
community.
It doesn't take that much because these people are just looking for some advocacy, somebody to help them. So if you just show a little bit of kindness and a little bit of care, it's not terribly unlike going to an animal shelter and you see the dogs in the cages and you go up and you're looking at this particular dog because you're thinking maybe you might like to adopt that animal, and the animal senses that you might be attracted to them, and they just look at you with those eyes and that tail starts wagging like, please help me, please help me. And then you do help that animal. That is your animal, fierce, loyal companion for the rest of his life. That's, I think, what happens. I'm just riffing, but that's what I think happens when you knock on doors. The door opens and you're standing in front of your constituent and you look at your constituent. You said, my name is Mario Nunez and I'm here to help you. What can I do for you? And I think that is so powerful.
That's what's lacking, I think, right now, that the people... There are some good representatives, but a majority of the people in Tallahassee are great fundraisers, but not great legislators. And we need to change that. We really need to switch things around and change the system that's there because it's not working for anyone. No one is going right now, I'm okay, I'm good,
Quite the opposite,
things
I
are
would
great,
think.
And you really, I've said this 100 million times, but...
Well, some wealthy people are.
They are, but when you're driving your kid to soccer practice and gas is $5 a gallon, and you have to make a choice, does my kid continue to go to soccer practice and I pay for these classes and the soccer practice, or do I have to pay for gas? You've got to question yourself, what is going on?
Right.
And what is going on is that both parties, both of them are equally as bad. Both parties are good if you're a billionaire, if you're a lobbyist or a major donor. That's it. But the working class people of our communities, the people that keep things running, are forgotten right now, and we need to remind them that we are here for them.
That group at the top that you were describing there, we call that the all set group. We're all set. You're all set, right? You're all set? You're all set.
Yeah.
They don't need anything. They're all set.
Well, that's why it's called the donor class.
Yeah.
It is a whole strata within our society.
I think, and I really feel strongly about this, in us as Democrats, I can't speak for the Republicans. I'm sure it's similar, but I live my life as a Democrat. We hang out in rooms with people that we go, oh, they're the donors. Oh, they have the money. Oh, this and that. I want to see the Democratic Party at the food bank line, talking to people there. I want to see them really going in there and talking to everyday people and finding out who's there and finding out what can we do to make lives better for people. And I believe that voters resonate with that. The people in my district definitely resonate with that. I talked to thousands of people since last November, and they feel that. They feel forgotten. And as much as we say it, for some reason, it's not getting through to the people from the top down. So we have to work from the bottom up.
How many doors did you knock on? Just curious.
5,000, like 5,500. It's a lot. It was a lot of work. Again, I didn't do it all by myself, but we went out there.
Now, let me ask you, Luis, as hard as it's been for the last year, How hard is it going to be now?
Look, the work continues.
Yeah, I'd say not only does it continue, but it might have to step up.
It does. And
you're in a bigger
hopefully
race.
people get on board and they realize that I'm being sincere when I say I want to work for working class people. The groups I told you about, including the unions, have been very supportive of my campaign, and I support unions all the way as well, because we need to make sure people are taken care of. They have health care, education, the basics of life, clean water, clean air. Why is this so hard for people to understand? You know, what is the greed behind this? When you go to places overseas like Sweden, Denmark, this is a big thing. You know that people just get. You get to go to the doctor. You know, I have a broken tooth that I've had for about 7 months now. That is a pain, right? I feel the pain every day. And you know what I do? I take a naproxen every day and just pretend it doesn't exist.
You need to go to the dentist.
And there's no money for that. You know what I mean?
We're going to start a GoFundMe page for Loose Tooth. We're going to call it Loose Tooth Fund GoFundMe page. But I'm just curious.
But I'm not the only one going through that.
But
no, you're not.
But I hear you saying it, and again, it's because maybe Joe and I are both bleeding hearts, and we're both empaths, much to our sometimes disadvantage. But what does it say about a person who doesn't want that for the other person who doesn't have that? I don't understand that whole concept. I mean, man, wouldn't it be just great if...
you could go to the doctor?
Not to quote Rodney King, can't we just all get along? But even beyond that, like, shouldn't we care about each other that way?
We should.
Well, we care about your tooth, Lou. We care about your tooth.
Ultimately, empathy, which is now trying to be, by some, it's trying to be
a knock. It's
marketed
as a weakness.
As a weakness.
Yeah.
But it is empathy that will save our civilization, if anything.
100%.
And another thing that you're fighting against, I would imagine, Luis, is that apathy that does come from the fact that people feel like their life is not changing and that big money's involved. How do you, when you're talking to someone one-on-one, I assume that you just tell them what you're going to do and what you want to do.
Well, we also, it is what I'm going to do and what I want to do, but we also have to think of the bigger picture and not just ourselves, right? So we need to build, and David Jolly talks about this a lot. He talks about building a coalition of candidates and a coalition across the state that's going to bring real change, because there's a supermajority in Tallahassee right now. And the only way we change that is by changing who's there. There's been people there for a very long time that are just beholden to lobbyists and the vicious cycle of re-election and only getting and having to beg people for money to be elected again. And you can't even legislate. I mean, look at the last 2 years. They couldn't even do the budget on time. You know, and so we need to build a coalition that's going to get things done. It's not just going to be me. Great candidates across the state.
Yes, can we make Florida jolly?
We can.
And by jolly, I don't mean capital J. I mean jolly as in happy. Can we make Florida a happier place? We do have Disney World here, for the happiest place on earth, but we ain't happy in Florida. Wow, my blood pressure just went way up.
I think that the Jolly campaign should really do something more with the word Jollygram. I think of a singing person.
No. You think Jollygram? I think T-shirts that say can make Florida jolly, not jolly again, jolly, because I don't know. Make Florida jolly. But I also think that we could incorporate this. From the valley of the jolly, ho, 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 Jolly Graham.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, there you go.
I know I'm old, and I know that's the Jolly Green Giant, but whatever.
But there is hope here in Florida, and I feel it. And for the first time in a long time, we're fighting.
Are you hopeful?
I am. We're fighting not because of vengeance, but we're fighting for hope. And I feel that right now. I feel this time and period right now that we're in with all the people that made it through last night. These are, this is our team. It's time to get behind them and time to win.
What is it that Barack Obama taught us, and what is it that he learned from Jesse Jackson? Keep hope alive.
It is.
Because that's the last thing that people lose is hope. And if they lose hope, they've pretty much lost everything, and we've lost our humanity.
Absolutely.
Louis, thank you for coming in today. We're just about out of time, and with about another 30 seconds, a minute to go, whatever you'd like to say, we'll give you the mic to say whatever you need to say.
Listen, I want to say thank you to everyone who helped me get this far. everyone that stepped up, everyone that volunteered, donated, all these wonderful things. I couldn't have done this alone. We go nowhere alone, and we are looking to the next chapter of Florida with tomorrow's leaders, and I want to be part of that. I hope you all come out and get to learn more about me and what we're doing and how we move Florida forward. This is where we're at, y'all. There's a choice to be made here, and the only place we can go is forward, and that means including everyone and fighting for equality and making sure that people have the basic needs in life to live a good life and getting the champions that are going to be doing that.
Very good.
Man, and let me add to that known you for a minute, have seen you grow a great deal in all aspects of your persona, and you are a good person, and you are our friend.
Thank you.
And nothing, I mean, absolutely nothing you did here today changed any of that. You've just gotten even more attractive as a human being. Thank you for being you.
Thank you. I appreciate you all.
Jose, okay, well, that was wonderful.
Jose, can you see?
I'm kind of like,
I know. I meant it.
There was a lot of tears last night.
Lewis.
well, let me just do this.
Dale.
As always, special thanks to our engineer, Jessica Green, who's been here with us and for us, making it all possible. Special thanks to Gabrielle on the phones. She's awesome. And coming up next is Sam I Am on It's the Music Wednesday.
She's listening to it.
Have a great afternoon, folks.
There you go. Joey just signed off, but I'm not ready to sign off yet.
I'm signing off.
I just want to remind everybody, if you got a minute, please go and vote for my buddy Joe King Carter, because I want him to be the best radio personality in Best of the Bay this year. I think it would be a tremendous honor for the conversation and for WMNF and our community. Thank you, Luis Antonio Salazar, for coming in today. Congratulations once again. Nick, thanks for being here as well. We'll see you guys again next week. This is, as it always is, The Conversation. You're listening to WMNF Tampa.